Hello everybody, I'm Pete Ulibarri. Welcome back to the channel. Let's do a quickish tutorial on grip. I believe grip is one of the most fundamental things to getting the disc golf swing right and to help newer players get their form to begin to line up from the very beginning. Let's talk about the first step is getting the grip right. Most people, when they first start throwing, they grab the disc like this. It's natural. Their wrist naturally works in this, so they end up grabbing it. Let's just call this holding the coffee, but holding the coffee in a way where we're not pouring it out. So if I said, hey, pour me a cup of coffee, you would carefully pour me a cup of coffee because you don't want all that coffee spilling out at once. So we pour the coffee. So let's grab the disc. I've got it here. I'm carrying my mug. Now what I've done is I've poured the coffee. I just relax, pour that, let it out. I don't want to over pour it. If I over pour it, I end up binding my wrist. I end up causing more tension. I scald the table because there's too much coffee pouring out. So we go here. What we want is we want the disc lining up with the center middle of our forearm. As long as it's lining up somewhere in here near the forearm, we're going to be in a much better place than here. Most people that hold it like this throw nose up and they miss high left. The reason why is because they come across their body and that's where it pops out. You know, the disc pops out, goes high and left. How we correct that? This. Now the body is in a position where it will begin to deliver that disc more on a level plane out of the lever of the forearm, the wrist, and the hand. So next, grip. So we talked about, instead of grabbing it like this and holding it here, let's talk about where we're gonna grab the disc, how we're gonna grab it, and the pressures we need to put on the disc in order to hold it properly in place so that we don't let other muscles dominate the swing that will cause us problems in the future. We want to use the muscles that are proper for this grip so that when we throw the disc, we're not causing other issues. Okay, we're gonna grab the disc here. See that? Index finger wraps around, thumb covers. Looks like this, okay? Now, as it wraps to itself, it squeezes to itself. It's not squeezing into the palm, it's not making a fist. It squeezes to itself and the thumb covers, all right? That's the first step. If you're a power grip person, here's what you're gonna do. Same thing, take these two fingers, put them in. I want them like somewhere in here like this. They're touching the top of the rim or touching the top of the flight plate and squeezing into the rim. Now, if they're just squeezing into like this and grabbing and pulling towards themselves, you're gonna end up going like this, okay? What I want is them to have a little bit of touch on the top of the flight plate. Pinky can do the same, okay? Pinky, he's in there. He's supporting cast. He's not the director of the whole show, but he's hanging in there, okay? So there. So now when they're in that position, what you can do is I want that pressure of those fingers squeezing upwards and into the palm. This, into the palm. I don't want this squeezing down like this. I want these supporting each other over here. They're hanging out. These guys are gonna squeeze into your palm, okay? So here we go, boom. Now, when they squeeze upwards through this flight plate, you see them right here. You can see them through the flight plate. They're in the hand. If I squeeze upwards and into the palm, they're squeezing into the palm in here. Rather than just pinching down against their hand, clinching, they're squeezing and clinching upwards. What that does is that drives this angle here. Next step, modified fan grip. We're gonna do the same thing. Grab it here, fingers on the flight plate, slide in, pinky, supporting cast. These two fingers are pretty dominant muscles. You're gonna hold it like that. They're gonna squeeze upwards into the palm, upwards into the palm. I'm not twisting my wrist to get it there. I'm squeezing these fingers up. Squeeze those into the palm. And when I squeeze those into the palm, I quit dominating with the thumb and pushing down. The thumb is just supporting this here, supporting cast. Those fingers underneath, squeeze that up into that place. Now what that does is we end up with a back-loaded grip. Front-loaded grip is here. Back-loaded grip is here. This helps us control. And so if you get that back-loaded grip, it also levels that disc out. And as we come through the hit point, that creates an upward pressure on the bottom of the disc pretty much. And that helps when the disc releases, instead of feeling a dominant downward force from the thumb rolling under, we have an upward force kind of balancing up against the thumb and the upper palm. If you haven't seen the last few videos that I put up that discuss a little bit of what's going on with the gyroscopic precession, our release point ends up being at about the 4 to 5 o'clock position on the disc on the line that we're throwing. And if at that point we push down 90 degrees away because of gyroscopic precession, we end up with the tail going down. Well, if you push down on the tail, the nose goes up. So if we're rolling our wrist under in any way, thumb pressure over dominating the fingers, or pulling with the fingers underneath. See, so if these fingers are pulling on each other, pulling against the wrist to get that, we're gonna end up going like this, but what will happen is 90 degrees away, the tail will go down, and a consequence will be that the nose will go up. Are you using your muscles incorrectly to drive the nose up, or are your muscles working with your throw and with your forearm and with your bicep and with your shoulder to actually hold the disc in a position where at the release point, you're naturally getting to that position that everybody's talking about? Suitcasing, flipping the disc, turning the key. All those things are mental ways that we check ourselves to get into that position. But if we hold the disc with the proper muscles, I believe that we're gonna find that we can get into that position a whole lot easier, and we can have a cleaner swing plane. That's what I have for you guys. Let me know how it works for you. Like and subscribe below. Thank you for following, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.